Hey, this is David Black. I'm a criminal defense lawyer in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm going to give you the full details on what happens if you've been served with a protective order. First of all, what is a protective order? Second of all, what does it mean? What are my options? And what does it look like fighting it or not fighting it? So what is a protective order? There are three main types of protective orders in Arizona. There are orders of protection, injunctions against harassment, and injunctions against workplace harassment. We're going to talk about orders of protection and injunctions against harassment. Workplace harassment is essentially the same as an injunction against harassment. What happens if you violate a restraining order? If you violate a restraining order, you can be charged with a crime called interfering with judicial proceedings. It's a misdemeanor in Arizona. It's a domestic violence crime. And suddenly you've gone from being served with this civil order that says you can and can't do these things to being charged with a crime. So we want to be very careful. What happens if the order is later found to be void or invalid? Well, it doesn't matter. If you violate an invalid order, it's still a violation of a court order. You could be charged with violating the court order later when judge says, you know what, we should have never given Sally a protective order, but you're still validly charged with this crime. So follow the order. Do not contact the person. If you have any questions about that, you contact a lawyer like me. All right, now, you've been served with this order. You're not going to violate the order. You understand that even though you disagree with it, you have to follow it to the T. You have some guns. Can you have guns? Well, some orders say that you can't have firearms. And if the order says you can't have firearms, you can't have firearms. You got to turn them in to the local police department if the order says that. If it doesn't say that, you give them to somebody else who keeps them separate from you. And that is until you challenge the order. All right. So what happens if you want to challenge the order? How does that whole process unfold? Well, we're going to take them basically in unison because orders of protection, we call them OOPs. OOPs are very similar to injunctions against harassment. I'll call them IIAHs. So basically the OOPs and the IIAHs, the hearings work pretty much the same. Give us a call. I will immediately ask you to send over a copy of the petition or one of the lawyers that I work with. We will analyze it. We'll tell you our honest opinion. We turn away more of these cases than any other, in part because of the fee shifting statute. We never want to be responsible for you incurring our fees and the other sides. But also, we like to win, and these are winnable. And when they're not winnable, there's no sense in challenging them. So we will be as direct and honest as we can. We'll analyze the case and tell you candidly if it makes sense to hire us or counsel generally. We can be reached at 480-280-8028. Thank you.